got like 9, 10 cans of paint, some sandpaper, some alcohol, some rubbing alcohol. So let's go do some work to the engine bay and get that shit looking nice. I need that wire Bondo mesh stuff.
The stuff you like filled over your fog lights with?
Yeah, the wire. I got it here. That mesh. Yeah, I have to see it. So unfortunately, they didn't have the metal screens that I was looking for. They only have like, you know, tack cloth, fiberglass mat, stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this fiberglass repair kit, and it should work. I just need to fill in holes, and that's what this is for. It's just a different type for different purposes. But it does work on metal. I've never used this stuff before. I've only used body filler, so this is gonna be a little new for me, but it should work nonetheless. Jared, I'm gonna try out this stuff instead.
Plastic spreader. Ooh, mixing in stick tray. Stage 2. That's what you need to be at.
Today I have a bunch of stuff that I want to get done. I want to fully shave the bay, or at least what I can get to with the wire wheel and my angle grinder. That means sanding down all the seals that are from the factory so that they're in flush with the body line. I also am hoping to try and fill some of the holes in the firewall from where the harness used to go through, but since we're rerouting the wire harness, we don't need those holes anymore, and the grommets are, the rubber grommets are toast. So I want to try and fill those. It didn't have normal body filler, so I got fiberglass body filler. Never used it before, so if it does work out, that's great. If it doesn't, then I'm not too sad because it's my first time using it, and so we're gonna see where that goes. You might notice a little bit of a difference in quality. I did pick up a new lens a little bit ago, a Sony 28-70. I've been wanting a bigger zoom lens for a long time. I've been using the 16-50 for a long time, but the quality of the image was very soft. This image quality is a lot crispier, it's a lot nicer. I'm also shooting this in manual today, and I'm also trying a different picture profile. And the picture profile is kind of what gets you to the step of having the color that I have in my videos. So I'm trying out a different one. This one's S-Log 2. I've been using Cine 4 for a while, so I'm gonna try out S-Log 2 and see how that works. The first thing that I wanna get done is get those holes covered up, and that's with the fiberglass resin from Bondo. So I'm gonna need some gloves, and let's try and get to work. Today is also the last day that I will be owning this gimbal. I've been using this gimbal for about a year now. It's a KMTV Mini 2, brushless, toolless gimbal, and that's what gets me all the smooth shots that you saw in the beginning of this video. It's worked well, but I'd like to upgrade to something a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, has more accessories, stuff like that. So it is the last day that I will be using this gimbal, so I wanted to use it one more time. So for example, this is one of the holes that I would like to get filled. This hole was for the fuse box when the fuse box was in its original location, but since we're rerouting the fuse box to be inside my glove box, we don't need that hole anymore. So I'm gonna try and patch that up. out flat and flush with the firewall. There's a couple pieces of stray metal in here that I've just got to get out, because when you grind, this stuff happens. But overall, that's a lot smoother than it was. I got rid of there's a bolt that was right here. I got rid of that too. I shaved that down. So I just had to sand this one down so I can start applying the resin on the inside.
That seems like it's working okay.
Fuck it. I'm just gonna dip the whole thing into the fucking vat of resin and get it all soaked up and saturated, and take it out and fucking throw it in there.
This is weird. This stuff is janky.
Resin is drying still in that corner. I have a bunch of little holes everywhere in the car that aren't needed anymore. So I'm going to use this professional gold filler that we have at the shop instead of the resin, because it'll be a lot faster to do and a lot easier to do. And I have a lot of holes, so instead of cutting up little tiny squares of resin and doing multiple layers of that, I can just slap a layer of that over it and sand it down. So that'll be a lot easier. So I'm going to do that now while the resin is drying. I filled in all the holes that aren't necessary, that don't need to be used, with one layer of Bondo. I'm going to wait for that to dry and then sand it back, and then if I need to do another layer, I'm going to do another layer. But while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to do this side, because this side also has a bunch of holes that are not needed anymore. Alright, so the Bondo and the resin on the passenger side is dry. I did put resin in this side to cover up this hole on the firewall, because we don't need that, so I'm still waiting on that to dry. But all the Bondo that I put on the bay is dry, and I can sand it. So I've got this wicked old sander that my dad let me use. I'm gonna try and get in between the nooks and crannies and get the Bondo down as much as I can, and then if it needs any more, I'm gonna hand sand it, and then if it also needs another layer of Bondo, I'm gonna throw another layer on there. But hopefully it doesn't need much after that, and I can just get the whole thing cleaned, and then I can primer and be done with the bay for today.
Xanax.
Alright guys, so I just finished sanding down all of the Bondo, all of the resin. I just took the compressor and blew the entire thing off. That was a shit ton of work. The resin didn't come out 100%. There's a little crack on the passenger side. And a couple of the Bondo spots are not 100% sanded down, so you can kind of see a bump here and there, but they're in spots where you really can't tell anyway, so I'm not really that annoyed by it. And plus with the color that I'm going with the bay, it'll be hard to see them anyways. it'll be all sparkly and stuff. I'm gonna take rubbing alcohol and I'm gonna wipe down the entire bay, make sure there's no grease or anything on it. And then I can set my primer. I can start primering stuff. I'm just gonna primer fucking everything. I've been waiting 3 years for this. Well guys, the primer's done. I did about 4 coats. 1 light coat, 2 medium coats, and 1 thick coat. And it's still drying, but it looks really, really good. And then once I'm back tomorrow and I put on the base coats of the color that I'm going with and finish that all up, it's gonna look amazing. So here you guys go. Here is the primer. The parts that we ended up patching, this side and that side, they came out okay, I guess. You can still kind of see them through the primer, but once I put the color that I'm going with over it, it's going to be extremely hard to even notice, so that's going to be good. I'll show you guys that one as well. It looks okay, I guess. Not professional, but not terrible. So I've been here since about 11 a.m. It's 7:45 now. I've done a lot to this thing today and I'm starting to get tired, but I also have to go home and edit this video so that I can release it tomorrow. We filled in the 2 holes in the firewall that we don't need anymore that were originally for the wire harness, but since we're relocating that into another area through the fenders, we don't need those holes anymore. So filled those in, and then went across the entire engine bay and filled in whatever holes we could with Bondo, sanded those back down. Those look good. And then cleaned everything, taped off some stuff, primered it. Took a little bit longer than I wish it did, but nonetheless, it is done. And when I come back tomorrow, I'll have a fresh canvas to immediately start painting, so I'm looking forward to that. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this little video, and I will see you guys tomorrow when we paint the engine bay. Peace out.